You join us live from Tower Bridge in London, where David Blaine is about to embark on his greatest endurance feat to date. I'm Nicky Campbell. In less than 1 hour, David Blaine will be locked inside a glass box, not much bigger than himself. He will exist in solitary confinement for 44 days. No food, no human contact, just water. He's calling it above the below.
David Blaine arrived in
previous stunts include 1 hour as magical or simply mad without a feat of physical endurance. What could possibly be next?
44 days with nothing.
44 days with nothing, just water. Permanent damage.
No contact, no escape.
44 days and nights, no food, only water. Right, to get a sense of what that must be like, think back, if you will, to July the 23rd. Where were you? What were you doing? How many meals have you eaten since then? Now imagine if you'd eaten nothing since that date. 44 days of complete starvation. That is what David Blaine is about to voluntarily attempt. It's his toughest endurance feat yet. Thousands of people have come down to show him their support. His fans are here tonight. We've got his friends, celebrities, the world's press are all here as well, waiting his arrival. David's team are currently making their final preparations to the box that will be his home for the next 44 days and nights. The big question, will he be able to see it through, and will he emerge unscathed from this extraordinary attempt? Bill Kalush is the team manager. You know just about as well as anyone. What's his frame of mind at the moment, Bill?
Well, I think he's contemplative. I think that he's really looking introspectively. He's really... I'm nervous for him. I don't know if he's nervous, but I think this is a very big one.
Does he know quite what he's let himself in for?
I don't think anybody could know. I don't think anybody has ever done anything like this before. So I'm sure he has an idea of what he thinks he's let himself in for, but whether it's true to life, I don't know.
Is this a trick?
Absolutely not. What you see is what it is.
As you can imagine, Above the Below has attracted a huge amount of controversy. Some people don't understand why David Blaine, magician, entertainer, and performance artist, would want to put himself at such serious risk.
I
think it's worth it for my art, even if I drop dead. I'm just an artist, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, wow. That looks really good. Oh, that looks great. It almost looks too good. I always considered this part of my life the most critical part. Like age 30 for the next few years, I always assumed were my peak. This is my everything. Right in these next 3 or 4 years is everything that I have to do, which will be the most extreme things that can be done. And if I die doing one of them, then I die. But at least I'm doing what I need to do. Should I try it right now? Should I get in there?
Can I just quickly ask as well, I'm not quite clear why you've chosen 44 days. Is that your limit that you think that you've been advised medically will be
I think, when I thought about it, I was thinking that that's as far as I could possibly go. Like I tried to figure out the absolute furthest that I think I could do, that I could be triumphant with, and that was it. And that was even pushing it further than I really believe, but I figured maybe I'll have something left to go to that point. But it's also my birthday, April 4th, 4/4. My brother said, good thing it's not my birthday, 10/27. You know? As a showman, as a modern-day showman, I can do whatever I want. So I can take these endurance feats, and I can connect them to magic and bring it all together in one, so therefore I can use it as an entertainment. And I can use it as a performance. I can make art out of both. Oh. Yeah, this is a good size. This is head to toe. For me, it's like the ultimate truth. I think when you have nothing, like when you're living with nothing, there's no distractions, you're just there as you are, almost struggling. I think that that's a pure state that we could be in. Yeah, that's great. It's strange. I don't really have any feelings about it. That's probably why I'm doing it, because I want to feel.
With all due respect, David, what would you say to people who would say to you, "You're nuts."
Oh, great.
Is that it?
All my heroes are bonkers.
This will drive me insane to look at.
Well, you've been dubbed the modern-day Houdini, and God forbid if it all should go wrong, how would you like to be remembered?
Is the greatest showman of all time.
And the self-styled greatest showman on earth, David Blaine, will be arriving in just 5 minutes to prepare for this extraordinary feat of endurance. Let me remind you one more time, 44 days of starvation and isolation, surviving only on water. We'll be meeting David Blaine after the break.
44 days of nothing, just water.
No escape.
Welcome back. We're live from Tower Bridge by the River Thames in London. In just over half an hour, David Blaine will begin the most dangerous challenge of his career. Locked inside a glass box for 44 days and 44 nights, surviving on water alone. He'll have no food, no human contact of any kind. He's calling it above the below. Now, skeptics refuse to believe he's really going to do this, but there is no trickery here. Right, let me give you an idea of what's going to happen this evening. David will be arriving at any moment now. When he does, we'll be given a thorough physical examination in this medical room. Then after that, we'll be taken over to the box over there at the end of this gangway and hanging from a crane to make the final preparations. And after that, a full security check. Now, only when we've established beyond doubt that David has no food of any kind with him will he be allowed to enter the box and begin his challenge. I think the car is just arriving at the moment. So all the fans and friends who've gathered down here, give him a huge welcome as David Blaine arrives. All the security men are making a path to bring the car through, and the car is now entering. Here's David Blaine. David. Hi. All right. Are you scared?
No, not at all.
How can you not be scared?
I'm not worried about the first 3 weeks of this. I know the first 3 weeks I can handle. I'm worried about the second half of this, when I start to lose my mind and everything becomes really bad. Okay. When it's cold out.
Do you want to get the medical check? I'll be in just a second. Now, since David Blaine's first endurance feat in 1999, where he was buried alive, he's associated himself with pushing back human boundaries. Let's take a look at the challenges which have led him to where he is tonight.
In April of 1999, I buried myself alive for 7 days and 7 nights. I existed on nothing but water and air. It was a complete deprivation of all senses. I emerged a week later, a changed man. I had lost about 1/10 of my body weight. My legs felt like rubber bands and I had to be escorted. Other than that, I thought it was an amazing experience. My next challenge I prepared for as though it was a fight. For 3 days and 3 nights, I was to exist within a massive block of ice, carved out so the ice was just inches away from my skin. Once the ice was sealed, there would be no way out for 62 solid hours. I trained and prepared for almost a year leading up to it. Every doctor that I consulted gave me a different reason I could never do this. Hypothermia, frostbite, blood clots, muscle spasms, sleep deprivation. I wanted them to understand that this wasn't a trick, nor was it an illusion. It was complete sensory deprivation. But as time started to go on, I started to break down. I believed legitimately that I was dead, that I was a corpse standing there, waiting to be judged to go to either heaven or hell. I thought everybody out there was ready to lynch me. It was really scary for me. And that was just after 3 days.
Dave, you're gonna be okay. Just hold on.
About 18 months after, we built a pillar in the middle of New York City that was about 30 meters tall. I was to remain there for 36 hours, existing on absolutely nothing. I decided that there would be nothing beneath me to catch me if I fell. This one came from a tradition that dated back to the 4th century AD. In order to prepare myself, I desensitized myself to heights by standing on long pillars out in the desert and jumping into airbags and learning how to land properly, and did everything over the course of a year to really become accustomed with heights and falling at high velocity. I was completely prepared.
To come down and support my friend David, and what this is about is sheer endurance. It's about mental discipline, physical discipline, courage. We can all push ourselves safely much further than we think we can, and life will be a lot richer for us because of it.
As the sun began to set on day 1, things began to get difficult. For the first time, the pain had surpassed what I had prepared for in training. At night is when the freaks came out. They gave me their support all night. We were there together alone in this park, just supporting each other, and they were sending me there, and I was very thankful to have it. When the sun came out, I felt like I was reborn. The sun felt like a true gift from God. My legs are numb, my back is numb, but at the end of this hour, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump straight down, and hopefully I'll survive. After 34 hours of standing in one spot, jumping felt awkward. I found out later that because of the way I landed, I had suffered a slight concussion. I want to thank every last one of you, and this is just the beginning. God bless all of us. Peace to everybody. Thank you. These last 3 challenges do not compare in any way to what I'm about to do. For these I had trained, and in the back of my mind I knew that I was going to succeed. The next one is the complete opposite. I basically dreamed up what would be the most difficult feat that I could ever endure, and now I'm going to give it my best, but I have no idea what the outcome will be.
To go without food and human contact for 44 days will place an immense strain on David Blaine, both physically and mentally. He's having the tests done at the moment. Goodness me, what's this going to do to David's body?
Over the course of the time he's in the box, obviously he's not going to eat anything. To produce the glucose for his brain, he's going to break down the muscles and the fat in his body to provide the energy.
Well, that can't be good for him, short-term or long-term.
Short-term, it's probably not too bad. Long-term, it can be very, very dangerous indeed.
Are you worried about that aspect, what you're going to do to yourself when you're, a few years' time?
Well, what he just told me was that when you get to around 45 days, That's when most people lose their eyesight and things like that happen. So he's a little bit worried. He's saying the area between 30 and 50 days is a complete unknown.
So, what do you think about him for doing this? Is he foolish?
From a medical point of view, I really can't condone it. From a personal point of view, I think he's nuts.
It's from art.
Okay, thanks, Adam. I'll see you later, David. Thanks, Harmony. Without doubt, this challenge obviously then presents serious medical risks. Over the last few days, the papers have been filled with speculation, but what will really happen, not only to the body, but to the mind of David Blaine over the next 44 days.
How tall am I? How long can I go for? How long can I hold my breath for? Is it possible to go for days, weeks, months, with nothing, just water? Do you think there's a danger of death?
Oh, yeah. There's a small danger, yes. I mean, you become more vulnerable within days of getting nothing at all.
How much weight do you think I'll lose in 44 days?
It's going to be 30, 35 pounds, that sort of order. If you had lost as much as 60, 80 pounds, then, you know, you are going to die. Now, it's going to be less than that. But even so, you are taking some physical risks. Organs will get smaller and they won't work so well. I mean, your heart will get thinner and it won't beat as strongly. Your liver will get smaller. Your muscles weaken. So here you are, you know, eating your own body, and it doesn't contain everything you need. You'll feel pretty god-awful. Even your bones will get thinner.
Really?
Pretty daft thing to do, really.
This is actually starting to freak me the hell out. I don't want to continue this talk. Yeah.
I would start to look after 12 to 14 days for some very interesting things to start to happen. Then start to experience the mood swings. None of the problem with self-esteem. Rituals emerge after 12 to 14. Pull an earlobe or scratch his nose. Finger pulling, finger tugging, wringing of the hands. The brain needs stimulation. If it doesn't get it, it will create its own. He will hallucinate. I'll see the walls of the plastic change their texture or their colour, or they're having relationships with little creatures on the wall that don't exist. You see faces. But 44 days is a major challenge.
I was told by somebody that was in isolation, it's good to build a house in your head and live in it. So you kind of occupy yourself with your mind. You build a whole way of life inside of your head.
When I first heard that David was going to voluntarily commit himself to solitary confinement, I thought he was mad. I don't see really how he's going to cope with it. I remember on so many occasions waking up and thinking that I was free, and I would suddenly come to and realize that I was still in captivity, still in solitary confinement. There's some very obvious differences between my experience in a war situation and what David is voluntarily going to do. I was held as a prisoner of war in Iraq for about 47 days in solitary confinement. I think it'll be very difficult for David to go through 44 days on his own. Not seeing another person for days, weeks at a time is incredibly difficult. Boredom, not being able to do anything, and trying to keep your mind and your body active in those situations is incredibly difficult.
Got to remind ourselves that, of course, David Blaine is doing this voluntarily, as John Nichols said there, for his art. Well, seeing is believing, and psychologist Dr. John Potter, who was in that film, is here to see it all for himself. John, it's fascinating, the progression from mood swings, lack of self-esteem, loss of self-esteem. Tell us more about the hallucinations.
I think what happens is the brain normally has a lot of stimulation, and if it's not there, we create it ourselves. And there are various patterns that occur. Often the first stage is where the walls of the cage or the box, whatever you're captured in, tend to wiggle. You start to get visual hallucinations. Then you may imagine little insects appear, and then faces. And the interesting thing is when you start to believe that those things are true, that they're not imaginary.
But he has got plenty of things to look at. He's the beautiful London skyline and all the fans are going to be below. Is that not going to be stimulation enough for him?
Well, we all know we get used to a view, and I think after 6 or 7 days, I think he'll get bored. And also, I think it'll mist up a bit in his mind.
How can we tell? How will his team be able to tell if he's seriously deluded or it's just showmanship?
I think we'll just have to watch over a period of time. There will be signs. I think there'll be these sort of minor wringing of the hands, minor scratching, ritual patterns we call them. But it will be a case of monitoring.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much indeed. And you can monitor, as John says, David's progress over the next 44 days to see how he's coping. Sky Digital viewers should press red and select David Blaine, or you can log on to www.channel4.com/David Blaine as one word. Right, after the break we'll show you some of David Blaine's greatest street magic, and then we'll be joining him as he begins the most dangerous challenge of his life, above the below.
44 days.
No escape. It's the right time to do something in a different place in the world. I really love London. I mean, that this is where it has to be. I think it's an amazing place. I just love the people, I love the culture, I love the art, I love the society, and I love the layout of the land. I think it's a beautiful city. And I actually love the Tower Bridge. I thought it was the most beautiful bridge I'd ever seen, and I wanted to do something from that bridge.
And that is why we're here on location for the fourth and most dangerous challenge of David Blaine's life, above the below. And I think David Blaine is leaving the medical hut and he's making his way down the gantry towards us at the moment, past his adoring faithful who's turned up. Thousands of them turned up here. Now, those of you who've just joined us, in around 20 minutes' time, David Blaine is going to step inside this glass box. As you can see, the guys are working on it at the moment. The measurements, 6 foot 4 inches long and just 2.5 feet wide. At serious risk, as we've been hearing, to his mental and physical health. He'll face 44 days without food, and he hopes that water and willpower will see him through. Loads of David's fans are here tonight, as we've been hearing. What inspires you, if I can pick on you, about David Blaine? What is it about him?
I think it's absolutely fantastic that he can show people that the human body is far more capable than you can comprehend. That when you put your mind to it and focus your energy, that the possibilities are absolutely limitless.
You can apply that to your life?
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you think about him?
I just think that the human body cannot limit you to anything. You are so much more than your body lets you be. So I think if you put your mind to anything, that you can be so much more than your body allows you.
As a lot of these people know and love, it was his street magic that propelled David Blaine to worldwide fame. Here are a few of his greatest tricks. Some of these you will never have seen before.
Let me show you something.
Oh,
Let me show you. No, come here. Move your hand. No, take the top off. Take the top off. Take the top off. It's okay. Don't burn yourself. Take the top off to hold that. Let me show you something. Look. Taste the coffee. Make sure it's not too hot. It's okay. Look, as God is the witness. Look. Let go. I'll hold it. Ready? Watch. Look, you see it? Starting to go, I see.
Oh! How did you do that one? Oh, guys. That's your magic. There's a spark.
This is for you.
Oh, you son of a gun. Oh, thank you, guys. That's the best yet. There's a spark of magic magic in your eyes.
I want you to think of a person or a place or something that's very specific and important to you, okay? Good, and project that in your mind, okay? Right off the bat, just by looking at you, I know that it's a person. Right away, I know that it's somebody. A female. Your eyeballs are actually getting small. You see that? The iris? It's a female. Blood. Wait, hold on, let me just... It's blood. I mean, this person means the most to you. The name is short, and the name symbolizes something else. Dawn? Oh my God. That's amazing.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
That was the scariest thing I've ever seen. That's amazing. Wow.
And now I'm really freaked out. Oh my God.
Signs everywhere, always.
How did you know that? Whoa. Okay. No. Okay. That's amazing. Okay, now I'm really freaked out. Because she's gone. Okay. We need some shots.
Let me see if we got... Hold on, what is this? We just take this. Can I use a string? Yeah. Here, excellent. Great. Look, watch, just watch this. Yeah, we'll take it. This is a weird one, all right? And nothing big, you see? What? Don't do this yourself, though, right? Look. Make sure I swallow it, all right? It's gone? Tell him it's gone.
It's gone.
All right, look, it's gone. All right? Watch this, ready? This is the part that's bizarre. Look, I can... Here. Here, wait. Look. You see what happens? You see that? You see that? That's not a hair. You see that? Oh.
I love to provoke a reaction from people. I love to pull them out of their mundane thought patterns and make them think a little bit differently for a minute. I always love to do that, not just with magic, not just with these things. I love to do it all the time. I do it all the time. I think that's what any artist does.
Think of any card. Any card. 4 hearts. I gotta go. I'm willing to bet my life that you have exactly 39 cents in your pocket. Take it out and count it. Let them see. Come here. See how much change she has. Change.
I don't know how much I have. 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. How did he do that?
Do this for me. Take the watch off real quick if you don't mind. The time is, I believe, almost 5 o'clock? Yeah. 5 o'clock almost, yeah? Can you see? Great. Here's what I want you to do. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed or left-handed? Well, it's almost 5 o'clock, though, yeah? Okay, hold your right hand out, and here's what we're gonna do. I want you to notice that I don't touch that button at all, okay? Squeeze it. Squeeze, okay, not too hard, but think of any number between 10 and 30. Between 10 and 30.
Okay.
You got it? Say the number out loud. Say it out loud.
25.
25? We're gonna make the clock go to 25. Ready? Look, in your hand, it's gonna go forward right here. Oh, you're gonna feel it moving. Do you feel it moving right now?
Yeah.
You feel it moving? To 25. From 5 to 25. Done! Open. 20. What? No. Look. You held it.
25 days. Oh, 25 minutes.
In your hand.
1 second, right?
In your hand.
With my hand, man. Got him. It's 25 minutes. 1 second, man. 1 second. Oh, mamma mia.
All right, let's talk to David. We heard you say in that film that one of the things you like to do is lift people out of their mundane thought patterns and in a way make them see the world in a different way. How is this going to help people achieve that?
I like to lift myself out of my mundane thought patterns. That's more what I meant, you know.
And how are you going to achieve that? By going into that box for 44 days and 44 nights?
I'm just pushing myself to do the most that I can. That's what I'm going to do.
You've got this thing, I mean, since some of the fans I was speaking to earlier on, you wouldn't have heard because you were coming along, were saying that you inspire them to push forward in their lives. Is that something that is important to you, for the people who follow you?
I don't know, I just think the feeling of wonder is amazing, and I think it's through wonder that we start to create and push ourselves further. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just push myself as far that I can humanly push myself.
Were you always like that when you were little, growing up? Were you always trying to do stuff like that?
Yeah, I was always curious, and nobody ever stifled my curiosity, so when I wondered or explored, you know, I was encouraged to do that.
I know that you have been inspired by one particular quote by Martin Luther King. It's something like, among Dr. King's wonderful words, if a man has never found anything to die for, he isn't fit to live. Why is it that the kind of confrontation of death makes you feel alive?
It doesn't have to do with that. It has to do more with the passion of life. That's what that quote is. You have to be passionate about something to the extreme, to such a point that you're willing to put your life on the line for it, I think.
And just a final thought on the psychological and medical implications, David. If it harms you, will it have been worth it if you managed to do the 44 days?
I don't know anything yet. I just think it's beautiful.
All the very best. David's going to go and do a final security check at the moment. If you want to, Harmony, take David over there. There's Terry. Terry's the guys who've been looking after him. We're going to go and talk to Tom, who's a member of the team, while David has that done. Hi there, Tom. Did you actually design the box?
Yes, I did.
The camera's over there. Right. What have we got? Talk us through it. There's little windows there. I don't know if we can quite see them.
We found out today we hadn't really planned on the hot weather in the UK. It kind of caught us at a bit of a surprise. So, last minute thing, but we had to cut a couple of windows in here. It's basically a half-inch polycarbonate box on a steel frame. It's very basic. Most of the equipment you see pretty readily. We have a water tube for feeding.
Tell you what, let's go around the side and have a slightly closer look if the camera can come with us. I think it can. Yeah, right, the water tube for feeding. Available, obviously, on tap whenever he wants. And that is, so we can verify, just water.
It's just water. It's, I don't know if they can possibly see it, but it's fed from a tower right up there, a gravity feed unit. We have the famous urine tube we've all been hearing about, and a couple of vents in the floor that he can drop out any solid waste or whatever he wants to get rid of.
What about when his thermometer's going to go because his body's not going to be right because of the lack of food? So what if it gets cold? Is there a heater in there?
We have the lights in there, which we have to have on just to illuminate him, are going to provide some light. We have some emergency backup heaters in case we get a real cold snap. But I think mostly it's just going to be body heat and radiant heat.
Thanks a lot. Let's speak again to Bill. We spoke to Bill Kalush, who's the team manager. Spoke to him at the top of the program. Let's get another word. As it gets nearer the event, what's going on in your mind, Bill?
Well, I'm getting more and more nervous. It's real now. The box is here. We're getting ready to put him in. It's wet. It's a little cold. It's going to be a long one.
He was encased in ice. He did the vertigo on top of a pole for 24 hours in New York. He was underground in a coffin for 7 days. How does this compare?
This one is so far beyond it that it's not even comparable. The others were difficult, and they were amazing, but this 44 days is really pushing the limit of whether someone can live or not.
And you can, as Bill Kalush, you can look right down that camera lens and say, there is no trickery here. There's no fakery. This is genuine.
It's true. This is it. This is the real thing.
That is just pure water. It's not glucose or anything like that.
Pure water. Absolutely pure water.
And you are, basically, you and the rest of the team have essentially power of attorney. If you think something's going seriously wrong, you can take the decision to pull him out. That could be a tough decision.
Well, we as a team, we're the ones that have to make that decision. And it's a very tough decision because we have to rely on visual cues from David, and he's going to be in this box a long time. And I feel very similarly to David in that the first 3 weeks are difficult, but doable. It's after that that we have to watch him every moment of every day to make sure that if something starts to go awry, we can stop.
Will he do it?
I believe he will, but I know it'll be the biggest challenge of his life.
Okay, Bill, thanks very much. Join us after the break. Right, well, welcome back. We're live by Tower Bridge in London. The box is getting ready. In 2 minutes, David Blaine will begin the greatest challenge of his life. 44 days and nights locked inside a glass box, starved of food and completely isolated. He will only, and this is a guarantee, only have water, pure water, to keep him alive. And as he said earlier, and as Bill was just saying a couple of minutes ago, Bill Kalush's team manager, none of his former endurance feats compared to this. Let's go down and see what he's taking. Terry's been looking after him. So we've got a journal. Right. That's going to be, is that going to be a sort of a kind of companion and friend writing down your thoughts when you're up there?
Yeah, it's a journal to document everything that I'm going through the entire time. I think this will be an important part of what I experience. Get a picture of my mother.
She's obviously going to be great inspiration over the time you're up there. And a journal and the pencil we've seen, bedroll and pillow.
I'll show it all. This is here. So just so you guys can see what I'm bringing, I'm having like a hooded sweatshirt because when you're in starvation mode and it's cold out, your body starts to freeze. You could die quickly like that. So we got this. It's made out of wool. It's pretty warm. Same thing with this, a pair of sweatpants, wool, warm. And we have 2 rolls of toilet paper. You know, when you don't eat, you don't go to the bathroom so much, you know. I have wet naps, baby wet naps.
Bed socks, nice thick sort of things to keep you warm. Could get quite chilly out there.
Good wool socks. Garbage bags in case I have to use a toilet.
Well, there is a chance you get chronic diarrhea halfway through, the doctors say as well. So
you're digesting your own muscle tissue, organs, liver, everything. A toothbrush.
And there's also lip balm in there. Why are you taking lip balm? I mean, surely chapped lips are the least of your problems, David.
That's not true, because every time I've done one of these, it's the lips that irritated me the most. Little things like that start to drive you crazy, so that's how I know that lip balm is a good thing to have.
Okay, we'll pack the bag. Do you want to go over and take the journal with the treasured photo and the pen and get ready to get into the box? Terry, you checked it. No food in there?
Absolutely, 100%.
You give us your word as a gentleman. There's no cheating going on here?
Absolutely, I've been right for it.
right through it. Nothing in there that David hasn't said he's got.
Okay, David into the box, let's watch. David Blaine, 44 days, 44 nights. Give him all the encouragement you can. Let's watch the team at work for a minute. This is only the beginning. You can monitor David's progress over the next 44 days via the camera in his box. There is a little camera there, and you can do it in one of two ways. Sky Digital viewers, as the rain starts here in London town, Sky Digital viewers press red and just select David Blaine, and then you can see David. Or you can go to Channel 4's website at www.channel4.com/David Blaine. David Blaine is one word. You see David getting up, climbing into the box. Now remember, if David achieves the full 44-day period, and it's by no means certain, he's really pushing himself to the limits on this one, he will be exiting the box on October the 19th, the conclusion of what will be, if he makes it, an extraordinary feat. And it will be televised exclusively on Sky 1 and Channel 4. Well, the clock is going to begin as soon as the box leaves the ground. Quick word with our psychologist, Dr. John Potter. Is there kind of a honeymoon period, John, the first few days of adrenaline and excitement, and you think, what's the problem?
Yeah, I think there will be. I mean, the main thing is he's done this sort of thing for a relatively short period of time. He will cope with the first few days very well. It's what happens after the second week that I think is going to be very interesting.
Remind us of the progression of the psychological factors.
Well, I think he'll go through this 7-day period of settling down. It'll all be novel. He'll then get into a state after about 12 days. And after that, I think we may start to see some of these minor hallucinations, which will be very, very minor. I think he'll see disturbances in his visual picture, the sides of the box. The scene outside will fade away. He'll have to go inside himself. But of course,
that's a fascinating thing, going inside himself. That can be a creative process. We hear people who've been put in these awful situations, not voluntarily, of course. You know, people like Terry Waite, they've done incredible things inside their head. Now, David Blaine is doing this for completely different reasons, but he's a very determined man, clearly.
In a way, it's more stressful if you've got choice, because he's got choice on whether to come out or not, basically. I think most people in these situations, when they go inside themselves, discover a level of spirituality. He's already discovered that. It will be a tremendous support for him.
Okay. It's going to go up in a minute. Stay there, John. I might be back with you if I can. Let's get a quick, some good luck messages. Final shake of a hand going on. Quick good luck messages. Hang on. What do you say to David Blaine?
Good luck, Good luck, and we'll see him in 44 days.
You were great, David Blaine!
Do well, David!
Some final messages. They're just getting all the equipment absolutely exact and accurate as it has to be. Interesting, the journal. Is that a good idea? Is the journal going to be some company, some solace, some avenue for that internal process?
I think the journal will be his main source of support, because he'll have something to do, something to record, and something to look back on. I think it'll be a tremendous psychological support system.
He showed me very movingly in touching the picture of his mum he's taking out. She's dead, a picture of his mum. That's going to be very powerful for him at sometimes when he's up there, isn't it?
Yes, I say, I think he's a very spiritual person. He's already developed a greater level of spirituality. This is going to push him even further. This will be a tremendous life-changing experience.
At the moment, he's looking incredibly relaxed, of course, surrounded by all his friends and companion and team.
There's Tom and Bill and Harmony and all the other guys.
He's a happy man at the moment because he has a lot of attention. His brain is being very stimulated with everyone here and all the warmth of the crowd. Is what happens when that fades into a memory and he has to come to terms with the reality of it. That's going to be the challenge.
I think he's asking for the lights to be turned down. But as this goes on over the next 44 days, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people are going to come down here and give him support. How important will that be?
I don't think he'll notice most of them after a while because he's already got in a frame of mind where he's dissociating a little bit with his environment in preparation for getting in here. And basically you could have 50 people or 50,000 and it won't make a difference.
And the experience, loads and loads of studies have been done on the long-term effects when people have been in these situations, although we always have to stress for very different reasons, for serious reasons, and let's not trivialize those. But is there a long-term psychological effect to something like this?
There can be, but it's often linked to the level of control that you have over a situation or that you feel you've got. He has a lot of control over this situation, and because of that, I think he will have some after effects, but I think he'll come back to normal relatively quickly, provided the physiological changes are not too severe and that they don't have too severe an effect on the psychology.
Let me just remind you as well of the ways you can watch this extraordinary event unfolding. Once again, go to Channel 4's website, www.channel4.com/David Blaine as one word, or click the red button on Sky Interactive and go to David Blaine, and you can follow it through the camera that is in there. How aware will he be of many millions of people watching him online and on interactive digital television? How aware will he be of that, Dr. Potter?
He obviously will know it's going on, but like anyone in a hostage or a kidnap or an aircraft hijack situation, you are alone. And regardless of those people being there, you don't see them, you don't feel that they are there. He'll have to have real strength and real resilience to cope.
Let's go back to the action. It's about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is ready. It's lifting up. Start the clock! Right, at this point in proceedings, David Blaine has specifically asked that this message be played.
No matter how many obstacles I've prepared for, there are so many unknowns. Maybe the case will be swaying in the wind. Will the sun burn through the glass, making the temperature intolerable? Will the cold nights penetrate the thin walls around me? Will the air supply suddenly get cut off and cause suffocation and maybe even death? I don't know. Anything can go wrong, and I will have no way of knowing until it is already too late. I can only hope for the best and expect the worst.
And with that, we leave you with images of David Blaine as he begins the biggest challenge of his life. Good night.